Okay, hey everybody. I just got back and I decided to do another game update video. The last one I did was about 3 weeks ago, so I decided to just show off what I got. Recently, I've decided to get more into portable gaming, mostly because I've been taking a look at some of the really good games on the DS and Game Boy Advance, and they all look to be really fun games, but none of which I've actually played. Well, most of which I haven't actually played. I have played some. So, I've been looking around stores to see if there are any good DS games and Game Boy Advance games to get. And what I got recently was Kirby's Mass Attack for the Nintendo DS. Basically, it's your standard Kirby story. Kirby is sitting around doing nothing until something bad happens, and this evil sorcerer called Deus something or whatever. I'll put a annotation. Divides Kirby into 10 little Kirby's and then kills 9 of the Kirby's. So you, like a tenth of your former self, run off into the forest, and that's when the game begins. You start exploring all the levels of the game. It all controls with like the DS stylus. Like there's no buttons. You basically fling the Kirby at something, and when it latches onto something, you tap it repeatedly in order to kill it. And when you kill it, it usually produces fruit. And the more fruit you eat, the more Kirby's you can produce. And the more Kirby's you can produce, the easier it is to get fruit and kill enemies. And you know, stuff like that. It's very Pikmin. It's very much like this game, Pikmin. In fact, it's almost exactly like it, aside from the fact that it's called Kirby and not Pikmin. Alright. This is honestly a game where I feel like I should like it a lot more than I do, because there's a wide variety of levels. The levels are very varied. Like there's one, forest world, one desert world, etc. And the levels are, nicely well designed. And this is a sort of departure from what the Kirby series is used to. Whereas the traditional Kirby canon, I guess, is basically Kirby inhales things and spits them out, or else absorbs their power and uses that power as its own. The Kirby series can usually be trusted to mix up the formula with every game. In fact, the most recent addition of the series, Kirby's Return to Dreamland, is the first main series Kirby game on a home console since Kirby 64. In between them, they've had slightly different gameplay alterations with varying degrees of success. And one of them is Mass Attack, which is more like a Pikmin game rather than a Kirby game. And although I applaud its innovation, the controls are not that great. I find that more often than not, I will throw Kirby's that I don't mean to. I find that there's always some enemies that could potentially drain my entire army. There was this one boss, I can't remember the exact boss, but it was like a cactus worm thing. Sort of like the Pokies from Super Mario World. And I remember I kept throwing them, but the Kirby's would always like sort of latch off because I was throwing the Kirby's as opposed to poking the Kirby's that are already on. So they would fall off, they would get hurt by the spikes, and it would potentially drain my entire arsenal. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like there are a couple design flaws. Other than that, I'm really enjoying it so far. It's got the it's just such a fun game. Kirby is so bright and so colorful and so fun, it's really hard to dislike any addition to the series. So yeah, even though I do have a couple of criticisms of it, I'm still really enjoying it. And the other we got here, I'm not certain if you can see it that well. I'll probably edit in a picture, is Castlevania Circle of the Moon. Castlevania Circle of the Moon belongs to a certain genre called Metroidvania. Starting in 1997, when the PlayStation first introduced a Castlevania Symphony of the Night. You see, up until that point, Castlevania had been a very strict and, for that matter, unforgiving platformer. But in this game, it took the elements of exploring different places, like in Metroid, and combined them with RPG elements. Castlevania Circle of the Moon belongs to the Game Boy Advance trilogy of Aria of Sorrow, Harmony of Dissonance, and Circle of the Moon. And this is my first venture into the Castlevania, Metroidvania, I should say, series. I've never played any other edition of the series except for the platforming, like in Castlevania 1, 3, and 4. So the fact that I'm able to play this is nice. Unfortunately, I don't have I came with just the cartridge, so I don't have the instruction manual. So I know all the basic stuff, A to jump, B to whip, that sort of thing. But it would have been nice to find the sort of learn how to use the flame whip button or the crouching dash thing button early into my playthrough. I'm still playing through it. I haven't even gotten close to beating it, but I really do like it. I love the original side-scrolling, exploring Metroid games like Super Metroid and Metroid Fusion, and this is really true to it. Again, I haven't actually played Symphony of the Night or any other Metroidvania games. So I'm really looking forward to tracking down more of those. I heard there's more on the DS, like Portrait of Ruin and Order of something. I can't really remember. But yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it, and I think that's about it. I will make another update video once I have more games, and yeah. I really suck at outros. Thanks. Yeah.